published, 6:59 EDT, the 19th of May 2018, updated, 15:14 EDT, the 19th of May 2018. Doria Ragland was the picture of pride as she watched her daughter Meghan Markle marry Prince Harry at St George's Chapel on Saturday. The 61-year-old appeared to fight back tears as she took her seat in St George's Chapel, after accompanying her daughter on the short car journey from Cliveden House, where she spent her final night as a single woman. Her now son-in-law Prince Harry, eager to offer her some reassurance, was seen turning to catch her eye from the altar. Doria was Meghan's sole relative inside St George's Chapel on her wedding day, after her father Thomas Markle, who had been due to walk his daughter down the aisle, revealed he'd suffered a heart attack and would not be traveling from the US to attend. But following the ceremony, it became clear how quickly Doria has been accepted into the royal fold, as she emerged from the chapel on the arm of Prince Charles, whose wife, the Duchess of Cornwall, was on the other side. There she posed for her first photograph as the mother to a princess, standing alongside the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Queen herself, and looking chic in a pistachio green coat and matching dress by Oscar de la Renta. Scroll down for video. Mother of the bride Doria Ragland has officially been accepted into the royal fold following her daughter's wedding to Prince Harry on Saturday. After the ceremony, Doria posed for her first photograph as a mother to a princess, standing alongside the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Queen herself. Congratulating Prince Charles, Doria could be seen taking Prince Charles by the arm as they went to sign the register. The pair were then seen leaving the chapel together before heading to St George's Hall, where the Queen will host a lunch. Doria Ragland appeared overcome with emotion as she took her pew in St George's Chapel ahead of her daughter's arrival. Doria had accompanied Meghan from Cliveden House, in Taplow, Berkshire, where she spent her final night as a single woman before officially joining the royal family as the wife of the sixth in line to the British throne. Their journey gave eager royal fans their first glimpse of the bride, who looked stunning in a gown by the British designer Claire Waite-Keller of Givenchy, complete with a 15-feet veil embroidered with flowers of the Commonwealth. Doria beamed and gazed adoringly at her daughter in the back of her wedding car as they made the short trip to St George's Chapel. Their chauffeur-driven Rolls-Royce Phantom 4, which was built and delivered to the Queen in 1950, was also used by Kate Middleton for her trip to Westminster Abbey when she married William 7 years ago. The two women could be seen chatting, and a relaxed-looking Meghan gave a brief wave, as the vintage Rolls-Royce Phantom 4 left for the drive to the Windsor Castle. The spotlight on Doria Ragland dimmed in the run-up to her daughter Meghan's marriage into the world's most famous family, after it was announced the responsibility of accompanying the former Suits actress down the aisle would be given to her father-in-law-to-be, rather than her mother. It had been expected by some that Doria, a yoga instructor and social worker from California, would take on the role vacated days earlier by Meghan's father, whose health issues left him unable to perform that duty. He remained in the US on Saturday as his daughter said her vows. The mother appeared to shed a tear after escorting Meghan to the church before leaving her to walk down the aisle. Concerned Prince Harry, sitting with William, leans forward in an attempt to catch Doria's eye. Doria sat alone for the ceremony as other members of Meghan's family were not in attendance. Prince Harry glanced at his mother-in-law to give her a reassuring look as he awaited his bride's arrival. As her daughter arrived at the altar, Doria beamed with pride from her seat ahead of a service witnessed by more than 100 inside the chapel, thousands outside, and millions around the world. The car journey afforded Doria her own private moment with her daughter. from her front row seat inside the service, surrounded by the bride's longtime friends Jessica Mulroney, Benita Litt, and Genevieve Hillis. The proud mother could be seen enjoying the animated address by Chicago preacher, the Most Reverend Bishop Michael Curry. She smiled, nodded, and appeared to bite her lip slightly during the vows. Neither Charles nor Doria could wipe the smiles off their faces, having just seen their children get married. The trio appeared to be getting along famously as they greeted spectators after leaving the church and, in a physical totem of her introduction into the royal family, she accepted the outstretched hand of the father of the groom as they filed to witness the signing of the registers, before her daughter and new son-in-law were left to drink in the warm wishes of the many gathered in Windsor to witness the spectacle. Last night Meghan looked stunning as she arrived with her mother. Doria Ragland, 62, after enjoying afternoon tea with the Queen. The presence of Ms. Ragland, 61, who is extremely close to her daughter and still calls her Flower, will have undoubtedly calmed any pre-wedding nerves for Meghan. During what has been an unexpectedly fraught and hugely emotional week, the yoga instructor flew into Heathrow on an overnight flight from Los Angeles last week. The mother of the bride, stunned in a lime green dress and matching coat by Oscar de la Renta, dressed casually in a t-shirt, linen trousers and canvas pumps, and carrying a suit bag containing what is believed to be her Burberry wedding outfit. She was picked up from the steps of the aircraft by a Royal Fleet Jaguar. She was driven to Heathrow's VIP Windsor suite, where Harry's assistant, Private Secretary Amy Pickerill, was waiting with an immigration officer. A member of staff from the private office carried her bags. Miss Ragland, described as a free spirit by her daughter and amazing by Harry, was taken straight to Kensington Palace. She did not have long to shake off any effects of jet lag. Just 24 hours later she met with the Queen, Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, as well as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. The mother of the bride escorted her daughter Meghan Markle to her wedding. Mother and daughter drove away in a Rolls-Royce Phantom 4, which was built and delivered to the Queen in 1950 and used by Kate Middleton for her trip to Westminster Abbey when she married William 7 years ago. The presence of Miss Ragland, 61, who is extremely close to her daughter and still calls her Flower, will undoubtedly calm Miss Markle's nerves. Doria appeared to fully embrace the experience, waving to well-wishers from the car. Meghan Markle launched her own mini-revolution as she married Prince Harry today in a relaxed and multicultural wedding Harry's relatives will never seen before. Meghan and Harry's kiss sparked huge cheers from people outside the chapel and the 100,000 watching on the streets of Windsor. Meghan and Harry process out of the chapel after exchanging vows in a quite extraordinary wedding today. The couple, who are now the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, organised a wedding that reflected both their backgrounds. Laughter, one of the well-wishers in the crowds, makes Meghan laugh and Prince Harry smile as they continue with their 25-minute tour of the royal market town. Harry and Meghan exchanged vows and then rings as the couple married after a whirlwind romance. Lady Jane Fellows, far left, and Meghan's mother Doria Ragland, next to her, in green, stand next to Prince Charles, Camilla, George, William, Charlotte and Kate on the steps of St. George's Chapel today. After the wedding, here they come. The couple chose to travel in an Ascot Landau carriage for their wedding procession. The Ascot Landaus are the name of 5 open-topped carriages kept by the Royal Musevision in white, Meghan Markle smiles to the camera as she rides alongside her husband Prince Harry. Meghan Markle waves from the carriage after the wedding ceremony wowed huge crowds. Did a royal wave. Meghan waves gracefully as her husband smiles as the procession weaves its way through the streets of Windsor and they're off. The married couple begin a procession through the streets of Windsor before they will head to the daytime reception with 600 guests at Frogmore House. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle pictured moments after they married, now becoming the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Regal, the Queen looks every inch the head of the family and state as she waves out to applauding crowds alongside husband Prince Philip after they marry. The Duke of Cambridge and his father Prince William both laughed during the service at St George's Chapel. Meghan and Harry were pronounced man and wife by the Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby. Harry told his bride that he had missed her after their night apart and clutched her hand throughout the moving service. Important job. The two page boys have the important task of carefully carrying Ms. Markle's train up the flight of steps to the chapel support. Ms. Markle delicately holds Prince Charles' arm as she walks towards the altar. This touching moment is all the more poignant after her own father was forced to drop out of the wedding earlier this week due to health problems. A nervous-looking Prince Harry and his best man William arrived in their blues and royals uniforms, but he quickly warmed up and waved to the crowds. Harry smiles and points at the crowds outside the doors of the church, making William laugh uproariously. George and Amal Clooney and David and Victoria Beckham are among the A-listers packing out Harry and Meghan's wedding in an extraordinary celebrity showing. Famous face, rock and roll legend Elton John chats away amid rumours he will be performing at the exclusive reception party hosted by Prince Charles at Frogmore House later tonight. Ready and waiting, Prince Harry's cousin Zara Phillips sits alongside her husband, the former England rugby captain Mike Tynell, right, who joked yesterday he was snubbed from his pal Harry's stag-do fascinator. This time, Princess Beatrice, who debuted an extravagant fascinator at Prince Will's wedding in 2011, shows off her gorgeous green headwear as she sits waiting for cousin Harry to arrive at the church. The Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, was the first royal to arrive at the wedding of the decade-pregnant Pippa Middleton, and her husband James arrived at the steps of the church just after 10:30. Familiar faces, Carol Middleton and Michael Middleton, head towards the chapel to watch their son-in-law's brother marry Meghan Markle this afternoon. The Middletons, the Duchess of Cambridge's sister Pippa Middleton, left, and brother James Middleton are among the extended family members invited to today's nuptials. Floral gown, Lady Kitty Spencer, right, photographed outside St George's Chapel as she waits to enter for the ceremony. Meghan Markle is close to her free-spirited mother and her thoughtful, inspiring father. The actress has written lovingly of her relationship with both. But it is the star's extended family who have hit the headlines, with one commentator describing them as a motley collection of individuals who, between them, have a long record of boozing, bust-ups and bankruptcies. From a gun crime arrest to a Twitter rant accusing the Suits actress of hypocrisy, Markle's step relations have already proved controversial so far. Here's a look at Prince Harry's future in-laws. Doria Ragland joined her daughter and Harry to watch the Invictus Games closing ceremony in Toronto in September. Mother, Doria Ragland. Miss Markle has described her mother as a free-spirited clinical therapist, writing on her lifestyle blog. She told how her mother took her to visit the slums of Jamaica and to see poverty in Mexico when she was just 10. My mother raised me to be a global citizen, with eyes open to sometimes harsh realities, Miss Markle revealed. Ms. Ragland, who is African American, met Miss Markle's father, Thomas Markle, on the set of the U.S. soap General Hospital, where he worked as a lighting director when she was a temp in the studio. I like to think he was drawn to her sweet eyes and her afro, plus their shared love of antiques, Miss Markle wrote. They divorced when Miss Markle was 6. although she lived with her mother in Los Angeles, Mississippi. Markle also spent a great deal of time with her father. Ms. Ragland has worked at a day center for adults with memory loss and as a yoga therapist. Ms. Ragland, who filed for bankruptcy in 2002, has kept her daughter's counsel despite the press interest. She was mentioned in the Kensington Palace statement, which attacked the media over its treatment of Markle, saying that her mother was having to struggle past photographers in order to get to her front door. Ms. Ragland also joined her daughter and Harry to watch the Invictus Games closing ceremony in Toronto in September. Ms. Markle is Thomas Markle's child from his second marriage to Doria Ragland, father, Thomas Wayne Markle. Thomas Markle is a former TV lighting director who worked on shows such as hit sitcom Married with Children and popular U.S. drama General Hospital. He won 2 Emmys for his team's work on General Hospital and was nominated for countless others. Miss Markle is his only child from his second marriage to Doria Ragland. He has 2 older children from his first marriage to Roslyn Markle. He lives a quiet life in Mexico and filed for bankruptcy in 2016 after reports he failed to pay his debts. Miss Markle is close to her father, who is of English and German descent, and has described him as hardworking and caring and believing in her grand dream of becoming an actress. She has paid tribute to the blood, sweat and tears this man, who came from so little in a small town of Pennsylvania, where Christmas stockings were filled with oranges, and dinners were potatoes and spam, invested in my future so that I could grow up to have so much. She added, "It's safe to say I have always been a daddy's girl. He taught me how to fish, to appreciate Busby Berkeley films, write thank you notes, and spend my weekends in Little Tokyo eating chicken teriyaki with vegetable tempura." She recalled how one Christmas he created a Barbie family for her when they were only sold in sets of white dolls or black dolls. Her new collection of dolls had a black mom doll, a white dad doll, and a child in each color. "My dad had taken the sets apart and customized my family." When Markle was confronted with a tick box form to fill in at school about her ethnicity and found she did not fit into just one category, she revealed, "My dad said words that will stay with me forever: draw your own box." Samantha Grant is Miss Markle's half-sister from her father's first marriage. Half-sister, Samantha Grant. Samantha Grant, also known as Samantha Markle, describes herself as a writer, a mental health counselor and a blabbermouth. She is Miss Markle's half-sister from her father's first marriage. A one-time actress and model, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2008 and uses a wheelchair. Based in Florida, she is 17 years older than Markle and sells jewelry to raise money to fund the feature films she writes. Twice divorced, she has 3 children, Ashley, Christopher, and Noel. Like her father, she once filed for bankruptcy and is estranged from her mother Roslyn, Thomas Markle's first wife, and brother Thomas Jr. Ms. Grant has been an outspoken critic of Ms. Markle since news of her relationship with Harry broke, describing her in interviews as a shallow social climber and claiming she shunned her since making it in Hollywood. The royal family would be appalled by what she's done to her own family, she said, before complaining that she was still waiting for her wedding invite. She said Meghan had barely spoken to her. She was diagnosed with MS nearly a decade ago, but later maintained she never made the critical comments of her half-sibling. Ms. Grant claimed she raised Miss Markle for 12 years while she was growing up in California, but her ex-husband, Scott Rasmussen, disputed this. While she has described Markle as very beautiful and conservative, very real, very giving, she has also attacked her on Twitter for her lifestyle website The Tig, which Markle has since closed down. There is so much more to focus on in the world than shoes and handbags, she said, accusing Ms. Markle of hypocrisy for presenting herself as a humanitarian activist. When Markle wrote an article for Time magazine about period poverty across the world for International Women's Day, Ms. Grant retorted, "But what did she donate to them to make real change come about? Money for toilets, maxi pads, or just a photo op?" As rumors Harry was engaged to Markle mounted, Ms. Grant, in a television interview with Good Morning Britain, denied there was a rift between her and the actress, describing her as absolutely lovely, very strong, very graceful, and also very lively. She insisted she was not writing a slamming tell-all book, but confirmed the work was called The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister. Thomas Markle Jr., 50, has been bankrupt once and divorced twice. Half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr. Thomas Markle Jr., 50, has been bankrupt once, divorced twice and faced trial on gun charges before the case was dropped. The father of two lives in Grants Pass, Oregon, and works as a window fitter. He was arrested in January 2017 for allegedly holding a gun to his girlfriend Darlene Blunt's head during a drunken argument. Charged with unlawful use of a dangerous weapon and menacing domestic violence, he faced jailed for up to 5 years if convicted. The charges were later dismissed. He apologized for his actions and said he was seeking help for his drinking problems. Mr. Markle Jr. is not thought to be in contact with his famous half-sister, but has given interviews about her and shared family photos with the media. He claimed Harry had met his girlfriend's father Thomas, but older sister Samantha denied this, tweeting, "My father hates Tom Jr. and will not talk with him." The articles are BS. My dad has not met Harry. Thomas has two sons, Tyler and Thomas Markle. 3, with his ex-wife, florist Tracy Dooley, whom he divorced in 2001. His second marriage, to Johannes Roja, ended in 2009. Roseanne Markle has been complimentary about Miss Markle, father's first wife, Rosalind Markle. Roseanne Markle is Thomas Markle's first wife and mother to Samantha Grant and Thomas Jr. Rosalind has said of her estranged daughter, "Everything she has said about Meghan is a lie." The 71-year-old lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and has been complimentary about Miss Markle. Meghan is very pretty, very nice, very polished and very classy. I never hear anything but good about her. From my son Thomas, Jr., she said. She also has a younger son, Bobby Lucero.